State-owned Mazagon Docks Ltd. (MDL) has delivered the INS Karanj Scorpène-class submarine to the Indian Navy. The acceptance document was signed by its director, Vice Admiral Narayan Prasad, retired, and Rear Admiral B Sivakumar, Western Naval Command's Chief of Staff Officer, Technical. A total of 6 submarines in this class are expected to be commissioned by the end of 2023. 2 submarines, the INS Kalvari and INS Kandheri, were commissioned in 2017 and 2019 respectively. The 4th submarine in Project 75, the INS Vela, was launched in May 2019 and has already commenced sea trials, while the 5th boat in the class, INS Vagir, was launched in November 2019. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes how potent is India's INS Karanj Scorpène-class submarine. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer all Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. The strength of the Indian Navy's submarine fleet has declined to an alarming level from a total of 21 submarines in the 1980s to only 19 submarines at present, which includes 17 conventional powered ones, 1 indigenous Arihant-class nuclear ballistic missile sub, and 1 Russian Akula-class submarine, which is on lease. The situation is made worse by the fact that the Indian Navy is operating with half of its submarine fleet strength. This is mainly because most of the vessels are pretty old and going through midlife upgrades to extend their life. As clear with the recent standoff and line of actual control, China is a threat. Chinese submarine force has expanded rapidly and possesses around 70 subs. There have been several instances of Chinese submarines moving into the Indian Ocean. The main motive behind India acquiring these new submarines is to counter the Chinese force. INS Karanj is Kalvari-class vessel. The Kalvari class is a class of diesel-electric attack submarines based on the Scorpène-class submarines being built for the Indian Navy. The class and submarines take their name from the first submarines inducted in the Indian Navy. On the 6th of October 2005, India signed a series of contracts for the transfer of technology to construct 6 submarines in Mazagon Docks Ltd. With Aramis, the supply of equipment and services with the government of France, and supply of SM-39 Exocet missiles with MBDA. The entire contract is valued at $4.16 billion. The deal included a 30% offset clause, and the submarines were to be delivered over 5 years starting from 2012. The Scorpène design won the deal because of the capability to fire Exocet anti-ship missiles and an agreement on the air-independent propulsion. There were plans to incorporate Defense Research and Development Organization (DRDO) developed air-independent propulsion system onto the last 2 submarines, but this was canceled due to delay in development. A plan to buy 3 more submarines under the options clause was canceled in September 2016. The Kalvari class is capable of anti-surface warfare, anti-submarine warfare, intelligence gathering, mine laying, as well as surveillance. It has a length of 67.5 meters or 221 feet, height of 12.3 meters or 40 feet, and displaces around 1,615 tons when surfaced and 1,775 tons when submerged. The submarine can operate at a depth of 300 meters. The hull, fin, and hydroplanes are designed for minimum underwater resistance. The vessels are manufactured with a special high-tensile steel so that it can withstand high stress and hydrostatic force. All the equipment are mounted on shock-absorbing cradles to lower acoustic signature, making the class a very silent one. Due to its stealthy nature, it's hard to detect and track. Kalvari-class vessels have 4 MTU 12-volt 396 SE84 diesel engines and has 360 battery cells. These power a silent, permanent magnetized propulsion motor. It can reach a top speed of 20 knots or 37 kilometers per hour when submerged and a maximum speed of 11 knots or 20 kilometers per hour when surfaced. The submarine has a range of 6,500 nautical miles or 12,000 kilometers at 8 knots, 15 kilometers per hour when surfaced, and a range of 550 nautical miles or 1,020 kilometers at 4 knots, 7.4 kilometers per hour when submerged. The Kalvari class can accommodate up to 18 heavyweight torpedo or anti-ship missile or 30 sea mines. INS Karanj, like other Kalvari vessels, will be equipped with SUT torpedo and Exocet anti-ship missile. The SUT is a wire-guided heavyweight torpedo manufactured by Atlas Electronic. The SUT torpedo is designed to operate in both deep and shallow water and against surface and underwater targets. The SUT has a range of 15 nautical miles at 18 knots or 8 nautical miles at 35 knots. The SUT is already fitted aboard the Sivakumar-class submarines of the Indian Navy. It's expected that in the future these submarines will be equipped by Varunastra, a heavyweight torpedo developed in India by the DRDO. Exocet, built by MBDA, is a sea-skimming, subsonic, solid-fueled anti-ship missile. It uses inertial guidance for mid-course and active radar for the last leg of the flight. It travels at an altitude of only 2 meters above the sea surface, making it hard to detect and intercept. Due to its flight profile, it's most likely that the missile may not be detected till only about 6 kilometers from the target, leaving very little time to react. The latest variant is powered by a solid propellant booster and a turbojet motor, enabling it to hit targets at a distance of 180 kilometers or 110 miles. INS Vela also has C-303S anti-torpedo decoys for self-defense. INS Karanj will add much-needed teeth to the Indian submarine force. Scorpène-class is considered to be one of the quietest diesel-electric submarines in service around the world currently. INS Karanj also has an endurance of around 45 days. These factors, coupled with the ability to carry a formidable set of weapons, make INS Karanj a potent force. The Indian Navy has planned to build 24 new submarines. This endeavor is divided into 3 parts: 6 Kalvari submarines to be manufactured under Project 75, 6 more subs to be built under Project 75I, India, and 12 to be manufactured indigenously. It remains to be seen how things pan out in the future. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.